I want to say I was in the 4th grade, so about 9 or 10. I was staying at my friend's house, which was a decent-sized trailer literally in the middle of nowhere. They had a huge plot of land for their horses and it was surrounded by pretty thick woods. Their closest neighbor was a mile or two down the street. Her mom and stepdad would often leave us home alone while they went out. This particular night her older sister wasn't home either, so it was just the two of us. We didn't mind being there by ourselves, though, until this night. We had been playing on the computer in the living room when my friend needed to pee, so we both went to the bathroom, which was right across from the computer in the hallway by her and her sister's room. I'm not sure why I decided I had to go with her, but I guess I'm glad I did. We were in the bathroom, talking. She was doing her business and I was just standing by the closed door, staring at the mirror. Now, there's a part of the floor where her kitchen and living room meet that creaks loudly when you step on it. We suddenly hear it, that specific part of the floor creaking as if someone stepped on it. We both froze and just stared at each other, waiting. It was soon followed by a couple more heavy footsteps. My friend quickly finished up and we were both crying at this point. We were whispering frantically, not sure what to do when the footsteps got faster and were coming towards the hallway the bathroom was in, where we were. They suddenly stopped right before getting to the hallway. We were both sobbing but still trying to be as quiet as possible. We were totally convinced someone was in the house and there was no one that could help us. We were in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by thick woods, with the closest person being a couple miles down the road and the house phone was on the computer desk. Neither of us had cell phones at the time. My friend, who was far braver and stronger than myself, whispered to me, "I'll go out first, you stay behind me." I trusted her with my life. She was one of the strongest people I knew and I was certain that if shit went down, she would make sure we'd be okay, so I nodded and followed her out the door. When she opened the door there was nobody. We were confused, relieved yet still scared. Based on the sound of the footsteps, a person should have been standing right in front of us, but no one was there. Then we noticed how cold the room had become. It was freezing, and there was this heaviness all around us, like someone was there, or something. We knew that if it had been a person, then they couldn't have gone anywhere else in the house. We would have heard them. My friend instantly knew what was actually there with us. We were still crying as my friend snatched the house phone off the desk and called her mom. She told her what happened but that no one was there, and then she mentioned that she thought Charlie was there. My friend started talking out loud to this Charlie, telling him he was scaring us and asking him to kindly leave us alone. At this point I think her mom told us to lock ourselves in their room, as they would be home in a couple of minutes. While we waited my friend told me the story of Charlie, a friendly spirit that had followed them home from a friend's house. It didn't feel at all friendly just a few minutes prior. I remember later that night, after her parents had gotten home, we were in my friend's room, about to go to bed. She told me I could pick out a movie to watch until we fell asleep. Her movie cabinet was next to her door. I walked over to get a movie, but there was some sort of strange force that wouldn't allow me to go past a certain point by the door. I ran back and jumped on her bed. She tried going over there as well but couldn't. Neither of us felt threatened by this for some reason and went to bed with her cable on. I woke up at one point to go pee and that same force was still there but was gone in the morning. I'm 19 now and after about 10 years I'm still not sure what to think of that night. I had been so sure another person was in the house before we opened that door. I had always believed in the paranormal, too, though, so I guess I have summed it up to have been some sort of spirit, be it good or bad. However, this experience is a big reason why I will never live alone or too far from other human beings in a police station. I used to live in northern Canada, not crazy high up like in the territories, but far enough north that it's snowy 7 or 8 months out of the year. Lots of forest, small city, surrounded on all sides by huge forests with bears, cougars, wolves, coyotes, moose, all that great white north stuff. And I've come across a lot of bears and moose living at the bottom of a hill that's the edge of a forest. At least half a dozen bears every summer and a moose once or twice a year. I happen to go out on late night walks frequently on my road, which is pretty secluded, just a straight road, forest on one side and flat land on the other with street lamps every couple hundred feet. One night I saw something wrong, and I know I'm just some jerk off on the internet just making a comment, but I swear on the life of my dead best friend, not related to the story but said serious, that this is what I remember. I am walking back home about 2, maybe 3 a.m. in the morning in mid-July on my road. Couple clicks from home, but I've walked this way a couple dozen times. I've been followed by bears, but they fuck off as soon as a truck rolls around every couple minutes. I carry bear mace, so not too worried. I'm walking back home, and on the flat land next to me, which is about half a click wide and long, I see this yellow in the opening. Keyword eye, just sitting there with this pear-shaped black body. Looked like a black bear loafing around. It's maybe 300 or 400 feet away, and the streetlight was in my eyes the first time I saw it. I keep walking forward, but I know to keep my eye out for it, so I reach for my bear mace as a precaution. I turn my head, and the fucking thing starts moving, but not like a bear. Or a moose, or a cougar, or timber wolf, or anything I've ever seen before. It's silhouetted by the moon, so there's enough faint light to sort of light up the opening field once I was out of the street lamp and my eyes could adjust. I must have made 4 checks to make sure I was really seeing this thing right. It was hunched over, almost bipedal. It almost moved like an ape, but this thing's torso and limbs were so bizarre. They were narrow, but it looked like it was covered in a torn blanket or something. When it started to move, its limbs seemed to stretch out way more than they should. The arms looked the length of its fucking upper body. At this point I feel the ice shoot up my spine and everything is slowing down. My mind is racing and I start walking faster, never breaking eye contact with this thing. It starts to move the same way as I am, slowly turning towards the road. Now at this point, if you live up north, you know a bear can outrun you, so you best stay where you are and let the thing go about its business and they will just leave you alone. I stop. It stops. I don't move. I don't lift a finger. I stand in the darkness between the streetlights, watching the silhouette with yellow eyes sitting there. A minute must have passed by or more, I don't know. Time felt like it was standing still. I was so terrified. I'm holding my breath just waiting for this thing to leave. God, I wish it did. As I stand there thinking of what I should do, looking both ways for any sign of a car, with nobody in sight, I look back to the thing in the field. It starts moving forward again, but not. It's making a sharp turn to the road. It keeps doing this bizarre movement pattern, again as I can only describe as an ape with narrow limbs, and keeps its pace. It starts shambling towards the road, now only 100 feet ahead of me. It's walking directly towards a street light, moving about as fast as someone walking with no purpose would. Maybe I scared it before when I walked faster? As it got closer, I was feeling relieved. I knew what it was. Of course, dumbass me scaring the shit out of myself over a fucking bear I've probably seen 3 times that year. Fucker probably smelled food in someone's trash. I wish to God that was what I saw. This thing shouldn't live. It shouldn't exist. I swear, on my best friend's life. It looked like a starved bear with legs much too long. Its fur was torn and hanging loose off its body. Its face was caved in and the flesh was falling off its left side. It crawled across the concrete like a sickly ape who was suffering. And then I heard its cry. It haunts me every time I think of it. Somewhere between a growl and a groan inside a metal can. I've never heard anything like it. As it crawled, its back left leg was completely loose from its body. Still attached, but it wasn't moving with everything. Pure dead weight, all bone at this point. I am close to pissing my pants, and I try to scream but my throat tenses so much that I can't even breathe. I'm crying to myself as I see this. This couldn't be real. There's no way. It keeps crawling over to the other side of the road into the forest, making rustling sounds as it goes through the bush. As I stand there, staring into the forest, a light comes from behind me as a pickup truck is coming around the corner down the road half a click. I sprint to that truck waving my arms, screaming bloody fucking murder for help. The driver sees me but clearly doesn't want any part of it, because he just floored it by me. I go running after it, screaming again for help. It gets out of sight, but I keep running. And running. And running until I get home, open the door, slam it shut, and fall to the floor sobbing. The only way I can rationalize what I saw was that there was a misshapen bear who was hit by a truck or train and somehow survived the hit, and was in its final moments before dying. Its limbs made no sense, half its face was gone, and its movements just twisted and turned all wrong. I have no idea what it was. I told my family and they all said I must have been dreaming or high again. Nobody believed me. I don't even know if I believe me. But I know that I wasn't dreaming. I couldn't have. Because my shoes were still covered in dust and dirt from running home. I don't believe in God. Or fate. Or any of that shit. But I know what I saw was real, and it must have just been a 1 in a billion chance. I've never gone out on a late walk since. That thing was an abomination waiting to die.